set. 5500. Ready, one. Rotate.
Well, hello there. What is up, everybody? Welcome back. Man, we are just crushing the content, the live streams today. Appreciate everyone tuning in. Been pumping out a lot of Airbus flying these last couple days. I'm almost Airbus out. I am almost Airbus out. I think by the end of this week, I cannot wait to get back to the Australia, New Zealand tour, do some Falcon around and some Fokkers, maybe some 737s. But today is something that I had an idea for today. I wasn't actually going to stream, and then I was going through, I was kind of reviewing for my recurrent stuff coming up, and I was looking at potential event sets, and there's a new one that got added this month, and that is the engine out at Reno. This is an engine out procedure that I have never done in the sim, nor in real life, thank God. But it is a highly complex scenario. And I started looking at it and I was like, oh my goodness, I need to do this in the sim. And then I was like, you know what, if I'm going to be going to the office, spending time in the sim, let me just live stream it. So we got a members only. We got the professional crew here with all Team Green in the house. Gustavo, good to see you, man. But yeah, so we're going to try to work through this. I have a couple different ways I want to attack this engine out procedure. We'll discuss those here in a little bit. But right now we're in a 319 IAE V2500s because I would not want to be in anything else coming out of here. But that's the plan. We got the Battleborn Nevada livery for Reno Tahoe because he's in Reno in Nevada. It is, yeah. So should be good to go. Mo Aviator, good to see you. Caleb WJP's in the house. Mr. Martini, Zach Rewind, good to see you. Fubar, what's up, my friend? Scott, Flight Plan 1, RC Flyer, Robinson J. Santana, Blade 9er 29er, Tiger Dude, Mr. Martini McAllen, Danny Rubel, And Throttle Hold is also in the chat. Throttle Hold, nice, I like it. Paul Shoesmith, T Sizzle, and Benny, welcome on board. Glad everybody's here. Could make this one here last minute. So this is going to be a short stream though. Like I said, we're just going to take off. We're going to do the engine out. Hopefully we won't crash, and then we're going to come back and land, and then that's going to be it. Tomorrow, the agenda for tomorrow is the last kind of our final walkthrough. We're going to actually be in Microsoft though, because we're going to be going in the Phoenix, and we're going to be doing the stadium visual into Newark with a diversion, with a couple other things, and that's going to be our final walkthrough prep. I guess final prep stream that'll be in Microsoft. We're not going to do the failures because we've been hitting the failures pretty hard the last couple of days, but we'll do a diversion, stadium visual approach, which I've never done in real life, but it's also a possibility that I'll get that, and a couple other things. So that is the plan. If y'all wanted an update, just before we get going here, if you wanted an update, my opinion on the number 2 or the V2 from Phoenix, the landing. I've been doing some landing tests all morning here at the office, and I've been I did a little over 10 landings in the Phoenix, and then I did about another 5 or 6 in the toliss, and I actually got a screenshot I put up in the Discord. So I have my final conclusions. I posted them in the Discord in the Phoenix section, or if you just go back to the last video, the Phoenix V2, I pinned a comment there. I think the flare mode in the Phoenix V2 update is pretty good. I actually really like it. What I think is the main problem is some other aspects outside of Phoenix, like in the sim, such as the glide slope and the PAPIs, destabilizing the aircraft. So if you're still wondering about the Phoenix V2, my thoughts on the latest updated version, check it out. Because when I put them side by side with the toliss and I nullify weather and all that stuff, it's pretty darn good. So I just wanted to throw that out there. So time to turn the pecker factor up to 11. Let's do it. Robinson says, love the stadium visual. Lucky to be in B6 a couple times landing on 2.9. Nice, man. Yeah, I have never landed on the stadium. I've never been on an airplane that did the stadium, and I've never flown the stadium visual. And I've never had it in the sim, but I figure what better time to do it than on Microsoft before we have to go do it for real, potentially. So we're in our airplane. We come down here. We're going to get kind of refresh our flows here. We'll make sure that the landing gear lever is down. We got all these off. That's off. Weather radar is off. I can get this out of the way. Beautiful. And we'll come up to the overhead. Window wipers are off. We got 25.6 volts. We'll go ahead and go through here. Again, I'm just kind of going through my own flows here. Keep it fresh. External power is coming on. Once the external power is on, we'll make sure the lights are in nav position 1. That looks good. No white lights in the cargo. This is going to be out and halfway. We'll turn the marker beacon off. Everything looks good up top. Wait for the screens to load up. We'll do our thing. Now, what's interesting about dark cockpits here in X-Plane 12? When I load into the sim with a preset weather condition, it loads in really bright. Like too bright, like it's an air, but it looks really good. So if we can find a way to have X-Plane 12 brighten these cockpits up, the textures on this 319, when it was almost like HDR bright. If you ever watch someone stream in HDR that you don't have HDR, but they're streaming in HDR, it looked kind of washed out. That's what it looked like when I loaded in, and the cockpit looked phenomenal. But it was interesting. How's the update Aviation Blaze? If you're referring to the Phoenix, just go to my last video. We did the Phoenix last night into Melbourne, and I posted a pretty lengthy comment on my final conclusion. But long story short, too long didn't read. I actually really like it. I really like it, and it will punish you if you are incorrect in your energy management, such as getting into VLS and then attempting to flare, which is true to the real airplane, and I touch on that on my comment. So go check out that comment or check out in the Phoenix Discord, because not the Phoenix Discord, my Discord in the Phoenix section, I posted a screenshot. Same weight, same approach speed. The pitch attitude is almost identical. It's just, I would say, maybe like 0.7, 0.65 lower in the Phoenix, but that's also a CFM versus a 320 with difference in flaps, so there could be a little bit of differentiation there too. So my opinion on ground speed mini, I still think it's overreacting. Yes, Gustavo, and Amir is aware of that. They're actually aware of the ground speed mini not behaving the way they want it to. So that's another thing to take into consideration if you are finding yourselves in like super weird ground speed minis that aren't adding up. Do what we do in real life sometimes, and that is have to use selective speed. So for instance, If you're flying into airport, maybe you're following a couple 737s. They don't have ground speed mini, and if you're told to slow to your final, and your final at ground speed mini is 165 knots, and the 73 in front of you is doing 140, 135 knots, you're going to overtake them very rapidly, and you're going to cause a lack of separation and potentially have to go around. So, depending on the circumstances, you can elect to select speed there instead of being in managed speed until you get down below. Now, remember, you're going to be playing with fire. Sometimes you want to be jawing on the spot with the thrust levers. Another technique is if you're going to select speed to get rid of ground speed mini, think about doing manual thrust as well. That way you can kind of keep that thrust really up there and be really focused on that speed trend to protect you in case of any shear. So, but yeah, I think it's worth a read. Check it out. Check out my comment on that last video or in the Discord, because I really think that's what's going on, is the destabilization of approaches. And you even saw in my stream, the first landing I did was good. The second landing we got destabilized and I was too high. I was too high, too slow, AOA, and I just got punished. And that would happen in the real airplane. Micah, I will say the rain is really nice here. I just want to, one more time, shout out to the KOSP sound pack, because sitting here right now while I'm talking to you, I literally feel like I'm sitting in the airplane talking to a first officer, because the ambiance, the ambient sounds are just crushed it. Just the KOSP sound pack just blows it out of the park. Absolutely love it. Let's continue with our flow here. We've got everything powered up. Let's go ahead and check our engine page here. We have oil. Let's check hydraulics. That looks good. And we'll check the pressurization is in auto. Very good. With that done, we'll hit the status and recall. We got no failures there. Everything looks normal. We'll go ahead and make sure this is good. We'll set the parking brake, go outside, do our external walk around. I will not be doing an external walk around today. See ya. See ya, folks. Or who's my FO today? Where's Gustavo? Have fun. Have fun out there. Stay dry. You can take my jacket if you want. All right. We're going to continue our captain flow. So up the left-hand side, crew supply, ground control, CVR test. Beautiful. Captain Pers is captain. We'll go ahead and get our ADIRs into the alignment. Remember, we just wait for that one on bat light to extinguish. Now we don't have to wait for all three. There it goes. And we already did our lights. We'll go auto, arm views. Everything else looks good. Electrical test. I just got to get in the habit of doing this, because I'm trying to break the bad habits, break the bad stream habits, all right? We're breaking, I feel like if I stream for a month, which I have been, and then go back and you can create stream habits. And I tend to stream, I try to stream, as far as procedures go, very similar, if not the same as my SOPs. For that reason, I don't want to create bad habits, but there are certain things that I omit on everyday streams that I need to kind of lock it back in here and get back into the real mode of doing things. So everything looks good on the overhead. Beautiful. All right, we'll get rid of the electrical. It passed the test. We're going to do a quick initialization here. We're going to simulate this flight that's going from Reno to Las Vegas. And I actually was able to load the chart for y'all. Check this out. So this is what we're going to tackle. We're going to have a long, lengthy discussion on this bad boy right here. So we'll get to that in a second. We're ARTA 319. We'll align the IRS. Today we're operating as Cactus Flight 357. Cost index of 55. Cruise altitude, which make it up 340. We're not going to get up there. Flight plan departure. Winds are calm, but for the most complex, all of the single engine procedures are pretty complex out of Reno. I think the most complex is 17 right. Now, the 17 right in the real airplane, what did I clicked something. The 17 right engine out procedure in our company, this is an FMS selectable EO SID. So we would be able to select this and manage nav it. Now, I did manage to build this pretty close just by using PBDs, which took me about 10 minutes. But I got it pretty darn close, and I state saved us for the end of the runway. So we might just do a snap back to the end of the runway because it'll load the same flight plan. But I kind of want to do it raw data, because it can be done raw data, and it's going to be harder raw data. And between streaming and trying to fly the airplane single pilot and trying to do an engine shutdown, it's going to be a much more of a workload than I would be thrown at in the sim. So I'd rather train harder to be faced with something easier. I don't want to train to a lesser degree and then have more stress in the actual sim. So just going to throw that out there. In real life, this would be a selectable procedure in the EOCID. So, but our normal departure is going to be the Zephyr 8, and we're going to take it out to pesky transition. We'll insert that, and that's fine. We'll just leave it blank. We'll just say we go Las Vegas arrival, 26 left, no star, approach via Bourbon. I know that's not right, but let's just play the game. Play the game here with me. We'll insert that. Good deal. There's your flight plan. Rad nav page. All right, actually before that, secondary init. What I'm going to do in the secondary is, since we are going to fly it, oh hell, should I try to build it again? No, we're gonna fly it. We're not in the secondary, but we're gonna load up an approach back here. We're gonna load up the ILS back into Reno. Okay, so today I have a brand new notepad, pen at the ready for all this info. Dougal, good to see you, man. Hope all is well. Welcome back. We're going to shoot the ILS 17 right at Zulu if we have to come back here. And that's a no star. And we're going to take the approach via off of... can we do libg? We'll do libg, which is full length. We'll insert that in the secondary. Now, I don't think I'm going to load up this other one here. But what we are going to do is we're going to load up the engine out contingency. So this is where it gets spicy, but let me get the rest of the airplane set up first. I'd already have apply load settings and apply quick refuel. This is what I want to do. We're pretty much at max weight, so let's put 13,000 pounds of fuel in here, and the zero fuel weight is 124.1, and a zero fuel weight of 28. Now I'm curious, hold on. If I do that, and now I go perf, and I request the takeoff data, will it update my zero fuel weight to actual? Let me see here. Delta Tango says, thank you for doing these complex streams, punctuated by occasional dirt landing king air action. Delta Tango, thanks for tuning in, man. Glad you enjoy it, my friend. Glad you enjoy it. So let's do received. Here's the thing. Here is a note that I learned when I was reading this procedure. I haven't been to Reno in months, many months actually. But there is a procedure for our company that says reduced flex takeoffs are prohibited when weather conditions are less than 2,000 foot ceilings and 3 statute miles, which we're below that today. We're about 2 miles viz, so, or hours of darkness. So we are not doing a flex. It is an actual requirement for a Toga takeoff. So I'm going to go ahead and insert uplink. Now I'm curious, if I go to the Fuel Predict page, it didn't update. Okay. So I thought it might have been next level. 28.3. It's our actual. All right. Cool. Why can't I see anything in the Discord? Evan Blakeman, if you just joined, just give it a minute. A mod will get to you. We still do hand approval for mods. They look at your profile, make sure that you're not a bot, and then we'll give you a passenger role, and then you'll be able to see everything. I'll get to it too after the stream. Okay, so 28.3, that looks good. Extra fuel at that. Everything looks pretty standard there. All right, good. And we got our speeds 35, 35, and 39. Flaps 1, no flex. Okay, so with that done, I need to wait for the aircraft to fully align before we start messing with this, because we're going to do some extra stuff. So while we're waiting here, we have our fuel on board. Let's get our tank pumps on, and let's get our APU fired up. I always get different numbers when requesting takeoff data versus getting them in the EFB. Any idea why? That's a great question, Thrust said, and I actually don't know. Gustavo, do you have an answer to that? I haven't tried. I haven't compared, but that would have been interesting to compare. So the difference between getting numbers from right here versus takeoff data request, I wonder if that would be, what's the difference in that? That might be a good question for toliss, actually. Let's actually see. Let me get that fired up. Let's see what this would have been if I did 1 + F Toga thrust. Oh no, it's actually the same. So maybe you have different thrust set. You might have different. Maybe you didn't have thrust set to Toga, but these actually match perfectly. Up 0.5. Well, this says up 0.5. Our perf data brought us 0.0, but like for us, it doesn't really matter. Well, actually, we would want to know what the CG is prior to loading, but. 35, 35, 39, 35, 35, 39, so that's pretty much standard. Engine out, acceleration, 5,500. Thrust reduction, acceleration is 6,000 feet. Field elevation is 4,500, 5,500. I think that is a correct engine out. Now there's a couple other, this procedure is so complex, y'all. I'm going to start the APU. I'm going to get everything done before, what am I clicking when I do that? I like the sound of that. Because when I get to we're going to spend about 10 minutes on that complex. Good morning, Aviator Nick. Welcome. Brad K. Oh, thanks for the continued support. It says, I think it's time to gift some memberships. Oh, boy. Brad K. dropped 10 gifted memberships. JETS, Jets. Grab up those memberships now before Aaron Rodgers gets hurt on the Snoopy Bowl this Saturday and Brad K. doesn't join any more streams. Thank you, Brad K. Very kind of you. For all those that were watching that weren't members, you weren't able to chat, you are now able to chat, courtesy of Brad K. And then right behind Brad K., Aviator Nick gifted 5 more memberships. Very kind, Aviator Nick. Thank you for that. Thank you for the memberships gifting as well. 5 more memberships, a total of 15 new members, 15 new Team Greeners here in the chat. Very kind of y'all. Thank you. Coasty, this is the toliss A319. Today I came home from vacation with an A320 and seated in the second row. I was amazed I could hear the autopilot disconnect sound through the door and approach. It made me smile. Yes, Airbus Geek, you absolutely can. Yep, I think depending on the configuration, you can hear it like, 3 rows, 4 rows back, for sure. Absolutely, especially if you're keen on listening what's happening. Good afternoon, Mr. V1. I just finished one of my last flights before I take my PPL check ride. Matt Wright. Well, that is awesome. I'm excited for you. Just remember, when you go in there for that PPL check ride, my friend, you are the pilot in command, not the examiner sitting next to you. You put that airplane where it needs to be, period, no exceptions. Don't let the airplane fly you, and you're going to pass with flying colors, my man. So good luck. That's very exciting. And Caleb W. with 5 more memberships. Caleb W., that's very kind of you. Thank you. 5 more memberships from Caleb. Looks like Brandon, Flyer with Mate, Flying Canic, Operator Dirt, and Marty Van Dam get additional memberships. So thank you, Caleb. Total of 20 new members here at the start of the stream. Very kind of y'all. Thank you guys for the support. All right, current altimeter is 29902, so let's set 29902. It's pretty standard with no winds and light rain. All right, that's cool. We have the timer going. We're going to set a top altitude of 16,000. We'll just pretend that's what it is. And the U procedure does depend on what altitude the engine is failing. Danny, it depends on the engine out procedure, which was a great thing you asked, because now it is time, chat, we dive into this. We have a lot to... this one is actually going to be so complex. Can I use 2 McDoos? So that's going to be the FO's McDo, and we also need this screen popped out right here. Okay, this is going to be this is what we're going to tackle. So, for those that are unfamiliar, the engine out procedure, depending on where you are, what airport you're at, you may have a complex, you may have a simple special, you may have a simple complex. This is what's called a complex special. This is a company or a chart that would be produced for real operators, not necessarily Navigraph subscription. So I actually took a screenshot of it and make sure there's no sensitive data on there, which there's not. And I just thought it'd be a good teaching moment here to explain this is what happens when you would be faced with this scenario, and what we do as a crew, where most of our time in the cockpit, we're not really setting up for normal operations. We are constantly preparing for the contingencies and what happens if stuff goes wrong. That's kind of the biggest difference between sim flying and real world flying. Is in real world flying, yes, we always hope for the best, but we are constantly preparing and making sure all our contingencies are squared away before the brakes are ever released. And this one is quite complex, one of the more complex ones I've ever seen. Now, as we read through this, you're going to see, for instance, on note here, climb via the IRNO, I-Reno Loke South course, or IAGY Loke if Reno Loke out of service. Now, these parentheses make this a lot harder to read. So what I do is, as long as I know that my I-Reno Loke is operable, then I just skip whatever the parentheses say, because if you try to read through it while reading all of the parentheses items, it's going to get even more confusing. So let's take it down from the top here. So this is a complex special for 17 right, all aircraft. Max crosswind 1070, that's the next chart. Okay, all engine operating takeoff consideration. The minimum flap retraction altitude is 7,400 feet. I don't even know how I'm going to remember that, because I'm going to want to retract the flaps, but we got to keep that in mind. But that is also minimum flap for all engine operating. We're probably not going to be dealing with that. Maintain at least 1,000 feet per minute or greater during acceleration and flap retraction. That is for all engine operating considerations. But if that's not what you have, engine out acceleration is going to be a little bit different. Engine failure during takeoff. Before 3 DME from the IRNO or the IHEY, which we know we have IRNO, this is what we need to do before 3 miles. That would be a V1 cut. Do not engage the autopilot. Climb via the IRNO Loke South course. So at this point, I know I'm going to be tuning in the IRNO Loke South course. And it's already, oops, this is the FO side. If I go to the captain's box, it's already loaded in here, IRNO, but I want to hard tune it, that way we don't lose it. So IRNO is now hard tuned. The front course, or the south course, is 167. We're going to leave that in there. Climb via the south course at 1.9 from the Loke, or accelerate in level flight to V2 plus 10. So our V2 speed is 139, so our we want to make sure when we get to that V2 plus 10 acceleration, it's going to be 149. This is kind of one of those special ones where you really kind of got to remember what your speeds are. So our V2 was 139, so our V2 plus 10 would be 149. Flight select key 7,400. Engine out, but I don't think engine out acceleration is 30. That was for all engine operating, Gustavo. Right? That's for all engine operating. Because if we continue to read here, check this out. I initially thought what you were thinking. After we level off to V2 plus 10 at 2 miles from Reno, at 3 miles from the IRNO localizer, we're making a left 25-degree banking climbing turn to heading track 325. Follow the flight director vertical guidance, but disregard the flight director lateral guidance and increase bank angle. 25 degrees. Establish on heading 325 and above 5,500 feet. Level off and accelerate to green dot, then continue climb. So right here, I believe it's actually 5,500, because according to this, it says establish on 325 and above 5,500 feet, level off and accelerate to green dot. At 3 miles from the Reno North, right climbing turn headings 1010 to intercept the radial from the FMG VOR. That's the Mustang VOR over here. So we also going to need to hard tune the Mustang VOR, which I'm going to load in FMG on VOR 1, and we're also going to hard tune it on VOR 2 for several reasons here. Oh, for the left it would be 5 and 7,400. Oh, yeah, for 2 engines. You're right. So, all engine operating. We'll go back real quick. There. But engine out is 5,500. All right, so back to our RadNav page. We got FMG VOR. 3 miles, well, we did that, right, green dot, 3 miles. We're gonna do right turn, 338. So I'm gonna tune in course 338 here on this side. And if you look at the pictorial, we need to make a right turn back around to intercept the inbound radial. Remember, radials only go out, so if it's a 338 radial, the inbound is going to be 158. So I'm going to have the second VOR frequency hard-tuned to 158. So now I've got my Mustang VORs hard-tuned on both radios. I have their associated courses tuned on both radios. I also have the localizer hard tuned on my side with the front course of 167. That is all good there. We'll continue on here reading this, and then we're going to get to the pictorial. Reaching, okay, so basically right turn, outbound, and then FMG vehicle climb and hold, inbound track standard, reaching 10,000, request radar vectors to resume on nav. So we're going to hold over the FMG VOR. Now, theoretically, we could build this, but I already have it built in a saved profile, which will probably load up at the runway. So, or I might just leave it. I'll tell you what, I'm going to put FMG here, and then I'm going to put a hold on FMG with inbound course of 158, and it's going to be right turns. I'm going to do that. So I'm going to return, and then there we go. So that's in the box in case we have to go direct too. All right. So, Cat, welcome to the stream, man. Good to see you. We're getting ready to go. We're going over this super complex EO special here, which we're going to fly, hand fly with raw data, which is going to be real spicy. But in the real airplane, it says do not use the autopilot because the autopilot won't bank as much. We have some very tight maneuvering constraints here. Okay, so let's kind of go over the pictorial, makes it a little bit easier to see here. If we lose an engine at V1, we're going to go out to 1.9. At that point, we're going to accelerate to V2 plus 10, which is be 149 knots. Then we're going to continue out to 3 miles from the Reno low course. At 3 miles, we're making a left 25-degree bank on a heading of 325 until we get north of the same localizer. So DME south, DME north. Once we get 3 miles to the DME north, we'll see the DME counting down, 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 and then DME will start counting up. And then we're going, once we get 3 miles, we make a right turn of heading of 010 to then intercept the, if I go Rose Nav, you'll see we have a course already selected, the 338 outbound, and then we're going to follow that outbound to 15.4 miles from the FMG VOR, which is tuned in right here. Then a right turn back, climb and hold, and then we'll go from there. Now, if you, we have to continue reading the rest of the procedure here. It says, after 3 miles from the Reno, reaching 10,000, request radar vectors, aircraft will climb and hold. Okay, good. This is at or after the 3 mile fix. It's a little bit different. It's a lot less complex, so we're not going to worry about that. We already briefed it. Other considerations: reduced power takeoffs prohibited when weather is less than 2003, which we discussed, and or during hours of darkness. If the iReno out of service, request tower to activate the IAGY, which is not necessary today because iRNO is active. We have a sector altitude, 10,009.6. That's all in the box. We'll put constraint modes on, and we'll also make sure terrain is on because it is mandatory on this departure procedure if that were to happen. And yeah, if all goes as well, though, we'll just follow the RNAV SID off 17 right. But I have a feeling that is not going to go right. So we're all good to go here. Let's close that. We've got 3 minutes. Let's go ahead and get the APU bleed on. We'll go ahead and turn the external power off. We'll go to our ground services. You guys go ahead and pull the chocks. You can pull the external power. And we'll go ahead and get rid of the trucks and caterings. We'll close everything up. And we're going to get out of here. Do you have any questions? Are y'all clear as mud? Jetway's pulling back now. Would ILS range wings help? Yes, absolutely. And I'm glad you brought that up because we're actually going to draw those out. That's what I was meaning to do. I want to draw that'll help us out. I won't fly it in managed nav in the secondary, but what we will do is throw some range rings in here. So we'll go fix info. And let's go ahead and pull that back up again real quick. See, every time I do that, we must have a double binding there. But what we can draw, oh no, charts, there we go. Let's do exactly that. Let's do iReno first, IRNO. Let's put a 3 nautical mile radius. And let's do the low course of 167. That's gonna go outbound. Hopefully CATCO would have told me that before we departed. It was like, hey, why don't you use some range rings there, boss? Let's zoom it out, then 20 miles is fine. So we got range ring with a radial out. We also need to have a, off of Reno, let's do another radial that's going to be roughly 010. We know it's not going to be 01 because we got to go 3 miles past it. But then we're going to take that 010 heading to join the FMG reference point with a radial of 338 out. And then there's a range ring because we're going to take that out to 15.4 from that fix, but let's just call it 15 because we can't do decimals. All right. So now we'll zoom out that. Now we kind of have it drawn out here. We do this, we turn back around, we come here 3 miles, go this way out, do our loop-de-doo, come back around, and then hold over FMG. So that would have been obviously part of the brief. I was meaning to do that, just totally slipped my mind. Thank you, whoever said that. Jonathan said, I'm glad you're flying and not me. Well, yeah, we'll see here. We'll see how it turns out. What is the standard takeoff thrust climb cutback for 1,500 feet, Jamie? It's I use 1,500 feet typically, 1,000 feet. Depends if you're single engine or 2 engines. I think it's 15 and 1, right? 1,000 feet single standard, but a lot of them, I always look because it'll have it on the TLR because you don't just want to assume it's always going to be standard because when you get to one where it's not standard and then you're like, oh, whoops. V1 looks over to me sitting in the left seat, sipping on my coffee, trying to pick up some OT. Yeah. Speaking of OT, let me make sure. Did anything drop yet? I need to change my September 1st trip out. All right, let's get out of here. We're ready to push back. You guys have been briefed. I've been briefed. And let's give the old toliss a shot here. Let's do a ground control to major tone. I'm kind of... Would you all be mad at me if I said I'm really starting to like X-plane again? I'm actually starting to like X-plane again. Like, I think it's this sound pack. I think it's this KOSP sound pack that has like reinvigorated my love for these IEs. I don't know. Spider! Thank you for the $5 super chat. I had the alert box muted there. Appreciate the $5 super chat. Says, thank you for flying my favorite aircraft. The DC-10 is so cool. Well, we're not in a DC-10, but thank you for the $5 super chat, Spider. I do think the DC-10 is cool as well. Thrust it, no, at 1.9, that's our acceleration of V2 plus 10. So we're going to, I don't want to put too many rings. You could. But I think when it comes to a special complex such as this procedure, I think it's if you go too crazy on that ND with the fix info, it'll look like you have the Star of David on there, and then when you actually need to look at it, you can be confused. So I get the important ones like those radials and then that main range. At 2 miles, we need to be accelerating. So and as in real life, I would do a real, you do an abbreviated brief right before departure and hit the highlights. 1.9 accelerate, 3 miles returning, 3 miles north returning, outbound to intercept, flipper back around, and then inbound and hold. So let's go ahead and spool them up. We'll go engine 1, engine mode to ignition start. Let's monitor the start on this one. I will be mad if you start to sing on every stream. I've never invested in your singing career. Sorry, Gustavo. What's going on with our fuel flow? Start fall here. Oh my god, we do. Engine 1 start fault. Ignition fault, new start in progress. Are you kidding me? I think I have random failures on still. Well, I'll be damned, toliss. Alright, well, the new start is in progress. Let me pull out engine 1 start fault. I hope CATCO started the timer for motoring. I feel like it's motoring a lot. Engine 1 start fault. No light up, engine stall, engine over temperature, hung start. Engine 1 start fault, engine 1 master off. Turn it off. Now we got to start the KRNO. What are our engine start limitations, Gustavo, on the IEs? You remember them? There's like freaking 400 of them. All right, no rotation or stall. No, we didn't get an over temp. We just had a hung start. Wait 30 seconds before attempting a new start to drain engine, okay? On ground, auto start. If the engine does not start or in case of detected stall, potential EGT overheat or hung start, VADEC will immediately shut off fuel and turn off ignition. After any start attempt that is not successful, a dry crank automatically occurs, which we witnessed. At the end of the dry crank sequence, the start valve is closed. ECAM displays the following message: auto crank in progress. We did not get that. When dry crank is completed, engine master affected off. It's off. Setting engine master off confirms automatic start aboard. After the starter cools, then for any subsequent attempt to start the engine, flight crew must perform a manual engine start and must report the no start condition to maintenance for appropriate action. Start fault continued. When engine above idle, VGT is exceeded, does not apply. Low start air pressure check, we had that. Thrust lever not at idle, we are at idle. Okay, so now we have to do a manual start. Now my question is, alright, well I'm going to delete it, but we'll do the manual start procedure. That's good practice. Manual engine start, V2500. Real quick, let me look at my our limitations for the CEO IAEs. A standard automatic start includes only one start, attempt one cycle. For ground starts, automatic or manual, 15-second pause is required between cycles, which we have 15 seconds. We're over a minute now. For ground starts, we already did that. A 30-minute cooling period is required subsequent to 3 failed cycles or 5 minutes of continuous crank. For manual start, observe a 2-minute maximum cycle time. For crank, does not apply, a 5-minute, and for starter must not be run when N2 is above 10% on the ground or 18% in flight. Okay, so manual engine start now. Let's go back. Manual engine start procedure. Thrust levers idle. Engine mode, norm, then ignition start. We're back to ignition start. When all engine parameters except N1 and N2 are available on the upper key cam, engine man start push button push. We have no amber, so let's go ahead and man start push button 1. Push. Start the KRNO. Start valve check in line. It is. Oil pressure increase. It is. N2 increase. If N2 does not reach 16%, it's already well past that. Pack valves check closed. They are. Alright, so that looks good. Does not apply. When N2 max motoring, we'll go fuel on. KRNO reset. So we're 30 plus this. 20 seconds after fuel EGT increase, we're looking for normal indications now. When N2 reaches 43% A and B, check off. That looks good. Well, no other system required, we don't need to shed anything. Okay, good. So that's good. We got a manual start on engine 1. Let's try an engine 2 automatic start, please. Well, we should have turned that off. Please start. Please start. Thank you. Bail. All right, we got 2 good starts. Let's do all of our stuff here. We're supposed to be 0.3 down, full up, full down, neutral, full left, full right, neutral, rudder, full left, full right, neutral. Probably going to ding at us. Yep, we got a delayed takeoff. Why we do that, let's make sure our failure is ready to go. So our V1 is 135. So now I want to, I'll tell you what, I'm going to just leave that up there. But we're going to add a manual fault. Let's keep rolling with it. Let's say engine 1 has a failure with damage at 145 knots, so right after VR. And to add to the stresses, that damage is going to be damage and can I double up with fire, damage and fire? Will that break the system? We are primed and ready for devastation. Alright, X-Plane 12H today is telling you to go play Microsoft. I don't know, someone said it. KOSP sound pack, rain effects. I mean, it looks pretty good. What's our IEV 2500 before exceeding idle? What's our, well, we're 35C, we're plenty good. But we still need them to warm up a little bit. So we'll go ahead and clear that for right now, and we'll leave that. We'll just taxi to our runway. Brakes released. Let's go. Ooh, water effects. I didn't know X-Plane had... Look at that. That's pretty cool. That's pretty cool. Even Microsoft doesn't have that. Brake check, pressure 0. God, this sound pack is so stupid good. Damn it, I'm gonna have to get auto ortho, aren't I? We're gonna have to get auto ortho. I want to fly this airplane more. That's the pond effect of pond sim. The wiper noise is what nightmares are made of. I know, I'm getting ready to shut it off already. Even when I have to use a wiper in real life, I turn it on for like 10 seconds at a time, because that's about as long as my patience will put up with that wiper. It's the most, I don't know how you can build a, what, 50, 60, 70, 80 million dollar jet and put a wiper on it from straight out of like 1940. You telling me we don't have a quieter wiper mechanism and or better one? This is actually way better than the real aircraft. The real aircraft wiper is more like the Phoenix, where it just kind of smudges stuff around. X-Plane advantages, A319 with IEs, cost by IE sound pack, icing that actually is not completely random. Oh, speaking of, what's our outside air temp? It's 6 degrees, we are in visible moisture. Engine anti-ice is coming on. Danny, are they supplied by the batteries? They are not. They're not supplied by the batteries. Are they, Gustavo? No way. We check that they're off before connecting electrical power though, because as soon as you connect the that GPU, if they were in the on position, like maybe it was raining when someone shut down, I don't know why they'd be on, but you don't want them on a dry windshield. Rain repellent, greater than right burst. Yeah, when it works, half of our fleet never has any rain repellent, or it just kind of like squirts it to the bottom quarter of the window, you know? The wiper sits a quarter inch above the windshield and wipes nothing. Exactly. Even got little puddle effects here. Yeah, Caleb, exactly like Rainix, actually. Matter of fact, it's probably just the FAA version of Rainix, so it's less effective and more expensive. Is there? I'm not aware of a min IAS for it to squirt. Phrasing. There might be though. The last one I did was on a Neo, and we were actually coming into Atlanta, and I tried to get it going, and it literally just kind of like came up right here, and that was it. All right, I'm done with you. I can't. I'm done. Oh. All right, let's do one quick review. We have our warm-up time. Let's go ahead and try this. There we go. That looks good. We'll go here, here. I still can't arm you, unfortunately. TARA. Everything looks good, and we'll do a forward cabin call. All right, before takeoff, just a quick refresher. If we pop an engine, we're going straight out 1.9. Then we're going to accelerate V2 plus 10, 149 knots. Call it 150. Then at 3 miles, left turn back around. 3 miles north of Reno, we commence a right turn 010 to intercept VOR 2, 338 outbound. It'll actually be VOR 1, 338 outbound. And then once we make our procedure turn at 15 miles, as indicated by the ring and or DME down here, we can we'll come back around and we'll proceed to inbound and go from there. Now, this is, I will say, as a simism here, I'm going to have to kind of do both. I'm going to have to try to fight this fire and fly this at the same time, so we just give me some patience on that. It's not exactly realistic. In the real world, one person would be fighting the fire and the engine failure, the other would be solely hand flying. So trying to mix this up is going to be quite interesting, but we're going to give it a shot. All right, and what is also very important here that we haven't done is because this engine out requires LOC, DME, and or LOC tracking if you want to do it. We've got to have our LS push buttons on for departure. So our LS push buttons are coming on for this departure. That would also be part of our departure brief. High terrain, all quadrants, no flex necessary. We're going to keep it with the wing anti-ice on. I'm sorry, with the engine anti-ice on. Any questions? And like I would in real life, when these procedures are this complex, it's actually really easy on our company stuff. So what makes it really easy, if I can show you this. I don't know. So like if you see my iPad, well, that's not going to work. If you see that little orange button that says EO. So this is our normal SID. And if I wanted to, if we lost an engine, all I have to do is click that EO button, and it will pop up the engine out pictorial, so I could immediately reference the engine out without having to do anything else on the iPad. So pretty cool update from Jeppesen. That came out a while ago, but actually I think it's been out for a long time. But it's nice to have that. All right, you guys ready? I'm not. Here we go. Let's give it a shot. What the hell? Lights coming on. Let's go. What is cleaner, rain repellent or aircraft coffee maker coffee? Probably the rain repellent. Puddle sim is trying to be good here. Look at the water drop. What? This is Microsoft levels. Look at the water, the rain in the water droplets. What is? Since when did X-Plane decide it wanted to compete with the big boys? That was pretty cool. Runway heading 167. Checks. Y'all ready? Yoga's in chat. Save state. Oh, yeah. Well, I already have a state saved for this, so we're good. We don't need to. We don't need a save state. We're good to go. I could do an RTO save, though. Let me go here. I'll just save another one. Reno 17 right. Low vis. So I already have Reno EO 17 right, so I already have it set up for if I wanted to fly it and manage nav, but this will be harder, so I want to do it this way. Yoga's in chat. Spool him up 50. Godspeed. Cactus 357, RNAV to Zephyr, runway 17 right, clear for takeoff. RNAV Zephyr 17 right, clear for takeoff. Cactus 357, Mantoga SRS, runway, auto thrust blue. That's actually, I don't know if that was a bug or not, but that streak there was very realistic because it blows all the water that's on the nose right up onto the windshield momentarily. 80 knots, thrust set. Here we go. V1, rotate, engine failure, positive rate, you're up. Engine 1 fire. Cancel the caution. Tower Cactus 357, we have an engine fire. We are going to comply with the EOC. Cactus 357, roger, advise intentions. Advise if you need anything. Alright, we are on heading now. We need to go out to basically follow the 167. Alright? So let's go ahead and try to fight the fire at the same time here. Thrust lever 1, item. Confirm thrust lever 1, confirm. Engine 1 master off. Confirm engine 1 master. Confirm. Off. We're 1.6, 1.7. Engine 1 fire push button. Confirm. Push. There's 1.9. Vertical speed 0. We got to level off to V2 plus 10, which is roughly 149. We'll keep flying the airplane here. So we're going to have to take a break from the ECAM. Okay, there is about 149. Let's go ahead and pull for open. Pull our selected speed, 149. We're approaching 2.8. At 3 miles, there it is. Left turn now. Left turn, 325. This is tight. Remember, ignore the lateral flight director bars. We're ignoring the flight director bars. This is one of those procedures where we do. So keeping it tight. We need more bank, more bank. We're coming all the way around. Gustavo, bug my heading 035, please. See the terrain, you can see why we have to keep this turn so steep. Wow, this is gnarly. This is super gnarly. All right, here comes 035. Oh no. 325, 325, 325. I don't know what I was thinking. 325. Good thing we kept going. All right, 325. Roll the wings level. Okay. Alright, where are we at here? Focus on 325 and above, 5500. Level off and accelerate to green dot. So, vertical speed 0. We need to level off and we need to accelerate to green dot. Now we're looking for 3 miles north. So we're 2 miles IRNO. We need to be 3 miles. So we're leveling off, vertical speed 0. We're accelerating to green dot. Let's continue the ECAM. Agent 1 discharge. Confirm Agent 1. Now this would have been done hopefully a long time ago. Agent 1 discharge. God, you don't want to hear that. ATC notified. Agent 2 discharge. See, our DME is counting down. We're vertical speed 0. We're accelerating. Stop ECAM. Alright, stop ECAM. Actually, I think we got to keep our flaps up, right? No, we got to go flap 0 because we're engine out. So flaps 0. Here we get the green dot. Our mileage is going up. We're approaching our limitation on our, well, we have 10 minutes. There's green dot. Let's go ahead and continue to pull for open. I'm going to leave it in Toga right now. And we're going to select our green dot speed there. Get a better climb. About 210 knots. We're 2 miles now. 2 miles from IRNO. Cactus 357, climb and maintain 10,000. Continue to comply with the EOC. Let me know if you need any help. Cactus 357, roger. All right, here comes 3 miles. We're making a right turn now, 010. We're 7,500 feet, which was our 2-engine acceleration, so I'm comfortable now coming into MCT on number 2. We need to protect our good engine. Thrust MCT, open climb. We're in a heading of 010 now. We're looking to join this VOR2 radial 338, right? So we got 338 bugged up here on course 2. Continuing in the climb. Looks like we got out of that chop. Let's continue ECAM. Engine start selector, ignition. If no relight, engine 1 relight, consider. That's not happening. We're not going to relight an engine that just caught fire. All right, clear engine 1. Engine 1 shutdown and balance monitor. TCAS select TA only. Cross feed or cross bleed. Shut. Cross bleed valve. Shut. Stay on that heading now. Looking good. All right, clear engine 1 shutdown. Clear engine 1 shutdown. All right, we got systems to display. At this point, I think we can go ahead and, well, we still can't go autopilot on it. We got to do this other turn. So we're 9 for 10. We're getting ready for the that VOR inbound. There's our alert. Speed alt star. Let's get her nice and level. Double check my arc mode here. We're getting real close. Leveling 10,000. Cactus 357. So you're getting ready to join the 338 outbound there off of Mustang VOR. Do you guys want to set up for an approach back in? Cactus 357, roger. We'd like to set up for 17 right ILS. But we still need a couple more minutes here to set up. Cactus 357, roger. You can expect 17 right ILS approach, whether it's 200 or whether it's 2,000 overcast, 2 miles visibility. Just let me know when you're ready to accept an approach. Roger that. Let's go back to our Rose VOR. We should see our line coming in here. Now remember, once we join this, we're taking this out to 15.4 with a right turn back inbound. So should be coming alive any second now. Here comes our course deviation. This is a long procedure, man. Like right here, because if I've had another pilot, we'd probably be completely done with the ECAM by now. And like I would be like, man, I really don't want to do this whole thing. I just want to, especially if you have an engine fire. But we've got to do the whole procedure here, get us safely established in the hold in case something else goes wrong. All right, here's our CDI is coming in. Oh, and I just lost it. That's interesting. Okay. So next best thing. Come left to 338. And let's make that a track. I don't know why I lost my Rose. It must have been, must be blocked. Which would also probably explain why this procedure is an actual FMS procedure. We could manually fly in nav mode. All right, so we're gonna track now 338, which we have it drawn on our ND, which wouldn't be the way you would want to do it ideally, but this is a workaround. All right, so now we're outbound. We're looking for 15.4 miles. which we also lost. Which I think we're probably already past 15 miles. We come down here. Let's go Prague. Let's go FMG. What's our distance? Oh yeah, we're already past it. Shoot, start our turn. Right turn all the way back around to 190 inbound. No, I think we got a combination of the range. I think after about 15 miles, you probably lose line of sight. So right turn here, tight right turn. Listen to that engine working. To the reverse track, inbound course of 158. Yeah, RadNav is still locked on Mustang, but I think we just lost line of sight. As you can see, it's still 17.9, still hard tuned. I cannot tell you how real this airplane sounds right now. It's kind of scary. I'll keep that up there, just gonna keep an eye on that. So I'm going to come past that. I'm going to try to intercept here on my ND. So we're going to follow the line that we drew, just kind of as a rough guide until we get our Rose VOR back. And actually now we could probably do our hold. We could set it up for direct hold. So what we're going to do is we're going to go secondary, activate secondary. I'm going to go direct to FMG, insert, and we can go nav. We can go autopilot 1, flight director mode, speed out nav, autopilot 1, direct to Mustang VOR, and we're going to hold, climbing back up to 10,000. Let's continue ECAM. Hydraulics, yellow's picked up the load, clear hydraulic. Electrical, we're down to single electric. Let's go ahead and start the APU. Bleed, we got one bleed, clear bleed. Status, stop status, after takeoff checklist. All right, after takeoff checklist is completed. Any other things we can do here? Well, we've got our engine out, procedure we've complied with. We've done our after takeoff checklist. We're not restarting the engine because we had a fire. We need to set up and come back down and land. All right, so we'll go ahead and read status. One pack only if wing anti-ice is on, does not apply right now. Wing anti-ice, Cat 3 dual, engine 1 bleed, pack 1, Gen 1, green engine 1 pump. Clear status. APU is starting up. While that's happening, I'm going to go ahead and load up a return here. ILS 17 right Zulu. And we said we want to do that off of libg. Approach via libg. That'll give us the full procedure. That's loaded up. We have our LS on. Matter of fact, we can go ahead and we got IRNO. Verify that is the right one. That is the right load. IRNO 110.9. Alright, that looks good. And then over on the FO side, 110.9. We actually could just clear these out. And now we can go IRNO. Beautiful. Now at 167. Alright, cool. Everything looks good. We're about to enter the hold of the Mustang. Our minimums for this one is going to be a minimum of 46.15. Alright, that is set. Our LS push button's on. We're in selected speed. Let's activate and confirm the approach phase. Beautiful. Alright, we got to ding the flight attendants, let them know what's happened. Hey, we got an engine failure. We're going to return back to Reno, be on the ground here, hopefully less than 10 minutes. I don't have any special considerations. I'll give you the brace command upon landing in case we have to evacuate. Notified dispatch, we're coming back, towers aware, we're emergency aircraft, everything has been taken care of on that side of things. Our approach is set up, we got our LS push buttons on, approach is activated, and good. Real quick, let's run into that COM2 engine fail, and I just want to, in real life, I'd probably say, hey, let's go ahead and land. You can omit the comm procedure if you're short on time. But if we have time, land ASAP. We've done all of that. Engine 1 fail, we've done all that. Done all that. Or it's actually, it's engine, we're actually almost shut down. Engine 1 shutdown checklist. Land ASAP, wing anti-ice on. We're technically in icing conditions, but we're not actively accumulating any ice. Everything seems normal. We do have the engine anti-ice on. So that does not apply. Engine shutdown mode, ignition it is. Fuel and balance we're monitoring. Reverser is not unlocked, does not apply. Avoid icing conditions. If severe ice accretion, VLS plus 10. All the green dot. Maneuver with care, landing distance procedure apply. If engine fire push button switch is pushed, avoid icing conditions. So we're in it. We can't, there's nothing we can do. We're in icing conditions. We gotta either get out of it or land ASAP. This would be a real poop sandwich here. Trying to go reverse or wing anti-ice on. If available, here we go. If engine fire push button switch is pushed, APU bleed must not be used. Okay, so we cannot use the APU bleed. So APU cannot be used. So let's land this thing. We're in icing conditions. We need to get on the ground. And Reno, Cactus 357, we're ready to accept that approach. Clearance back into Salt Lake. Cactus 357, roger. Continue that outbound turn. Fly heading 345. Descend and maintain 7,500. You can expect vectors for the ILS 17 right. Alright, 7,500. Expect vectors, ILS 17 right. Cactus 357. So we're in the turn, and let's make that turn. Let's make it 360. Cactus 357. 360 on the heading now. We're going to go ahead and clean it up off the Zompo. We're going to go direct off of Zompo, radial in. Final approach course is 168. Now, why has this been giving me issues as of late? If I put 168 here, that's not right. So 348. That's what I want to do. So let's go ahead and insert that. And we'll go ahead and select heading one more time. Our box is clean. We're descending down. We're high terrain. I know we're below VFE next, but let's go ahead and keep our flaps up right now. The fire will melt the... Yeah, you can hear the PTU going. That would be an ominous sound. In the soup, you hearing that? Your engine's quiet. All right, let's actually do this proper here. Cactus 357, turn left 355, 355, down to 7,500. And we're gonna hand fly the single engine ILS in there. We're looking good. Below max landing weight. That was really gnarly, y'all. That was a gnarly EO SID. Look what we did. You can see it here. That is awesome. Off of Reno, out, made the turn. Boom, made the turn 3 south, 3 north, intercept. So I think what happened was we never really got to intercept that course line. We went out a little bit past it, made our turn back, did the hold entry. Now we're outbound, set up for the ILS 17. That's pretty cool. All right, we're speed alt star. Bring the range down a little bit. Which come left 5 degrees. You see the glide slope lobe giving you a false signal? I did, yeah. That's pretty cool that they have that simulated too. That's what that Air France crew almost, before Airbus addressed that false glide slope, that's what happened. They almost had that, well, they had like a stall, right? They stalled it. had a severe issue. They were high, and then false glide slope capture on the Air France. I think it was a 319 too, wasn't it? Alright, let's go ahead and slow to 180 because I'm expecting a base turn. VFE next, -10, flaps 1. Status, we're aware, clear status. Cactus 357, turn left. Fly heading 260. Maintain 7,500 until established. Cleared ILS 17 right. Crash, fire, and rescue will be standing by. 7,500 until established. 260 on the heading. Cleared ILS 17 right. Cactus 357. Jeez. Hearing that rat out go off when you're in the soup is pretty. And when you see this down here, a little amber peaks node.
Terrain.
Okay, now that's scary. I would comply with the jip whiz there, but we gotta. That's not a terrain pull up. That was an E-jip whiz. I think we're just outside of the regular approach envelope. We're at terrain clearance floor. That was an E-jip whiz alert. In real life, obviously, you would comply. You have to be very careful complying with the jip whiz single engine too. That's a good topic for discussion. All right, glide slope blue, low blue, cat 3 single, autopilot 1+2. VFE next, -10, flaps 2.
2,500.
Loke star. That engine, man. God. This is like, it's that obnoxious in the 319. That's why I love it. I mean, well, I don't love it, but I love it in the sim. I mean, it is obnoxiously loud compared to the Neos, 320s, and 321s. What's our perf approach speed? Perf approach speed is 133. Glide slope star, manage speed, gear down, on the speed brakes, they won't arm though for me.
2,000.
VFE next, -10, flaps 3. I'm going to hand fly for practice, autopilot off.
Terrain.
VFE next, -10, flaps full. Glide slope. Gear on out to, let's just call it 10,000. Idle thrust, gotta get that left rudder in there. Oh, here comes that cloud condition, Gustavo. Why? Man, if I could fly it with these. Why is it this cloud that causes that destabilization?
Speeds.
Alright, that's gonna ruin the whole thing. Gosh dang it. What did we do last time? We changed this to Stratus. Oh, there we go. See, that's an X-plane bug. I won't be flying X-plane until they fix that. All right, now let's fix the problem that X-plane created here. Let's get back on the local slope. Correcting. Disable clear to land. See how nice the glide slope is in X-Plane? Look how easy it is to follow. I shouldn't say easy, but way easier than Microsoft. This is much more realistic as far as glide slopes are concerned. Ground contact. Not a call out for us anyway. Runway. Landing.
400.
Alright, so I got my right rudder trim in there.
300.
As we bring the power back, we're going to actually need to go opposite
100
rudder.
above.
Just make sure we're nice and coordinated on touchdown.
200.
Alright, I'm going below the glide slope now.
Minimum.
Landing. I don't want to, we have no floats on this. We're not messing around.
100.
Single engine out here, is go around is not an option.
50. 40. 30. 20. Retard. Retard. 10. 5.
All that rudder trim, I got to do a lot of left rudder. That's very good. Very good. Idle reverse. Using idle reverse on a wet runway because I don't, asymmetrical thrust. If it was dry, I would consider going full reverse, even on one engine. But because it's wet, we're just going to keep it at idle reverse. We're going to smoke the brakes. Flight attendant stations. All right, let's take a look. Take a sigh. Take a seat. Set your seat back. Smoke them if you got them. Observe the situation here. What are we going to do? We got hot brakes. Everything else looks normal. Call up the fire marshal. Yeah, Fire Marshal Cactus 357. We're approaching your aircraft from the rear right now. We see multiple hot spots along your wheels. Everything else looks good. You're leaking fluid off the left-hand side. Advise intentions. We're going to go ahead and shut her down here, and only need to be towed off. Copy that. You're cleared to go ahead and shut down your operating engine, and we'll get a tug out here for you. Come back down. Remain seated, remain seated, remain seated. And at that point, we're going to go ahead and do it. Just to shut down, the APU is running. Confirm engine 2, confirm. Engine 2 is coming off. That's going to stay in shut. We'll have the tow bar come get us. That's wild, y'all. That was pretty wild. Let's see how we did here on our map. You can see, it never used to, did it always used to do that? Where it would like reset your, if you went too far? Like the length of it? Layers. Go in, approach. Ren 7 right. Where is that? Oh, maybe it's old school 1.6, right? Oh, wow, you can see the vertical profile. You can see where we intercepted. This is where the winds were doing our funky things. So then we got it stable, and then we locked it in. Pretty good. Pretty good. That was pretty cool. Ignition switch. At this point, actually, yeah, it's still running, isn't it? Well, the master's off, so we'll be getting towed in. Thanks for the awesome performance. Keep it up. Thank you, Flight Plan. Appreciate you. All right, let me do a... let's just see if it'll replay. I'm just curious. I'm not going to touch anything. Let's put this into like regular cam mode. Let's just see if we can do any replay here. We'll fast forward it back. We'll watch the landing here. Thank you, Flying Plane. Appreciate you. Thanks for the performance. Keep it up. We're going to try. If you reduce turbulence to low in Microsoft, glide slope is much... Really, Aaron? Huh. Fubar, take it easy, man. Thanks for hanging out with us. See ya. Come on, wind it back. Wind it back. There she is. We're coming on down. Look at that fan blade. It'd probably be windmilling. Although if it had damage, though, we'd had a failure with damage, so... PTU running. Wow, you can even hear the PTU outside. Listen to the difference in sound. That's the outside PTU. And this is the sound that you're all familiar with. Hey, at least we have fall trees here. That's pretty cool. That's crazy.
500.
Uncle Leary would make a video of this flight. I did watch his SNA landing. That was pretty wild. That 7.3. I don't think there was damage prior. I think they smashed that sucker in there. Look at that 319. God, I love the 319. Oh, Reno is closest to his HQ. You're right, yeah. Coming in over the numbers. Go around's not an option. We're not floating it. Go send a little bit below that 50-foot mark, even over that displaced threshold. Look at that. Look at that. Power came to idle. Left rudder. Probably could have used more left rudder. So again, this is some hardcore dynamics at play here. So remember, we've got a left engine out. We got a lot of right rudder in there because we're compensating for the thrust on the right engine. As soon as we bring the thrust back, all that right rudder trim was going to make the airplane yaw even more. So we need to go left rudder here as we flare out. Here it comes. There's the left rudder. That's straight enough for me on a rainy day on X-plane. I will take it. Idle reverse on that wet runway. Get her on the center line before we set the parking brake. Man, that was cool. I feel much better after at least seeing this here. I'm glad the first time seeing this approach was not in the sweat box for real. So we got a good dose of it here. Like I said, short stream today. We will be back tomorrow for our final check ride prep with the RNAV or with the stadium visual in the Phoenix. We'll be doing that later on, and then I'll be gone for a week at least. And then I don't know what the schedule will be from then on. You've seen plenty of me. I'm going to take a little vacay. That was good. I'm happy with it. Thank you, Dougal. Appreciate you. Thank you, everyone who tuned in for this one. I hope you enjoyed it. Hope you got something out of it. Maybe I just like to... Maybe you're a nervous flyer, and maybe I can help calm your nerves just a little bit, because this would be the ultimate no good situation, engine fire failure, no FMS, secondary EO SID, raw data, single pilot, airplane handled just fine, even in the high terrain and icing conditions. So, God, I love the Airbus. All right, y'all. Aviator Nick, take care. Key 6, take care. Cornelius Harris, everybody else, get those see-yas in chat. Until the next one, stay safe, stay healthy. See you.